Hi, welcome to Party Food Hero. I'm Aaron. Today we're going to be doing the leftover series. We made an amazing brisket the other day, and there's no way, unless you had a giant group of people that came over to eat it, there's no way that you were going to finish that with just your family. Now I'm going to show you what you can do with that brisket that is an amazing dish that you can make a few days later. But yeah, it is called barbecue lasagna. I'd never really seen barbecue lasagna. I lived in Bolivia for a couple of years, and there was a lady down there that we were friends with that would make a kind of a sweet and savory lasagna. She called it American lasagna. I don't know. It was really, I just remember it being really, really good. And so that kind of gave me the idea. It's definitely not your typical lasagna. And it's not, you're never going to see this in an Italian restaurant, but it is so good. It's amazing. Super easy to make. Let's go check it out. All right, so for this recipe, you are going to need the leftovers of your point portion of the brisket, your favorite barbecue sauce, sliced mozzarella, sliced ham, butter, your favorite barbecue seasoning, smoked Gouda, Alfredo sauce, and whatever lasagna noodles you want to use. I use the oven-ready lasagna because then I don't have to boil anything, and it's easy to use. So that's what I use, but you can use whatever barbecue sauce you want, whatever barbecue seasoning, whatever cheese. Smoked Gouda is the best, though. Use smoked Gouda. All right, so you are going to take the point portion of your brisket, and you are going to cube it up. You don't have to worry so much about the cubes being the exact same size. All we're really going to be doing in the smoker is kind of heating it back up. We're not going to really be cooking it per se, cooking it a little bit, but mainly just heating it back up and then incorporating the other ingredients that we're going to put in with the burnt ends. So, you want to get kind of close to the same size, but it doesn't need to be the exact same size. So don't spend a ton of time getting your ruler out and making sure it's the exact same size as the other. You are going to drizzle on some barbecue sauce on top. Doesn't have to be exact because you're going to mix this all up anyways. You can add as much barbecue sauce as you want. I probably put about a cup there, maybe a little bit less. I really wasn't looking for a super sweet barbecue lasagna, but I could see that also being delicious. Then I added a little bit of my favorite barbecue seasoning. It is the barbecue seasoning I normally use on my ribs. It is Honey Hog barbecue seasoning by Meat Church. It is delicious. So I added that for just a little extra sweetness on top of with the barbecue sauce. But like I said, it wasn't overly sweet when I was done. The next thing I'm going to add is butter. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I probably should have mixed this all up first and then added the butter on top. But it doesn't matter because halfway through the cook, you mix everything up anyway. So you're going to get that melted butter distributed evenly throughout the burnt ends. So it actually worked out fine. After I put on these pads of butter, I was like, crap. I probably should. But whatever. It worked out great. You do it whatever way you want. But it's going to work out great. And it just kind of looks so good. And it is so good. Those burnt ends, man. Holy spicoli. They are delicious. I'm going to apologize in advance. I still have not figured out the best angle for the camera so that my hairy arms aren't in it for the majority of it. Anyway, so you're going to throw it on there on the smoker for about an hour. I'll have all the times and temperatures in the description below. Then, like I said, after about an hour, I go in and just mix it all up. I want to make sure every piece of that every burnt end is going to be just evenly distributed with flavor. So that's why I'm doing that, just mixing it up. And then the next part, you leave it on for another hour, but you leave it uncovered. So mix it up, and then you'll leave it uncovered, and then we'll get to see what it looks like after another hour. And they look amazing. So you're getting a little extra smoke on there by leaving them in the smoker, obviously, for another hour uncovered. Unfortunately, the camera likes to focus more on my arm than the delicious burnt ends we just made. I pulled one off and I just had to try it, and it was I'm sure I cursed in happiness with how good they turned out. The point of this shot was to show you how tender these burnt ends are, but my camera didn't really focus on the burnt ends. But you can see just they fall apart. They're absolutely delicious. All right, so we are now creating the lasagna portion of this video. And the first thing I do is I line the pan with a little bit of Alfredo sauce. And then I take my noodles and I place them down. Like I said, I really do enjoy the instant noodles. I don't know what they're called. The oven-ready noodles, I think that's what they're called. So you don't have to pre-cook them. Just saves you time having to boil water. That's the worst. So boring. Anyways, so after you put the layer of noodles down, you're going to put a nice healthy layer of your burnt ends down. Try and get it as evenly distributed as you can. That way, every bite, you're going to get a nice amount of the burnt ends. If you kind of have little pockets in there, it's going to be delicious either way, but just do it as evenly as you can. And while you're doing this, it's okay to take pieces and eat them because you worked real hard to make those burnt ends, so you deserve a little treat. Now comes the sliced mozzarella, and you just cover the top of the burnt ends. I mean, how could this not be delicious? You have burnt ends, which is possibly one of the best things you could ever eat. Then you have cheese and noodles. So, of course, it's going to be delicious. It's going to look amazing when I'm done cooking it. If you didn't know what it was, you might be like, what is this? It might not look the best, but I'm telling you, it tastes, scrumptious. All right, sorry. Then you're going to add one layer of ham. And then on top of that, you're going to put your some Alfredo sauce. And it really helps using the little brush that I have. I was hoping it would be useful. It sure was. This made it a lot easier to spread it out evenly all over. And then on top of the Alfredo sauce, when you're done evenly distributing the Alfredo sauce on top of the ham, you're going to put on some smoked Gouda. Now, the amazing part about this is that smoked Gouda obviously melts into that Alfredo sauce and makes this amazing cheese sauce. It is so good. Alfredo. Hey, Johnny Alfredo, whoever made Alfredo sauce. Let's maybe make some that has it's Alfredo sauce with smoked Gouda in there, because oh my gosh, that is really good. Okay, sorry. I'm thinking of some other recipes. Anyways, all right. So you put your pasta down, you put your meat down, you put your cheese down, you put your ham down, so you just do it all over again. You do it 3 times. So you have a nice tall lasagna when you are finished. And then for the top of the lasagna, you just top it off with one more layer of the noodles. Try and get it as kind of square as you can. And then you're going to add the Alfredo sauce on top of that. And then you are going to add the last of your Gouda. So yeah, there we go. See, that little brush is awesome. Doesn't get enough credit, of the kitchen tools. Gets really left out of top 10s. All right. So yeah, just get it on there nice and even. Throw on some smoked Gouda. And then what I did was I did a little bit of an audible. I had the kind of the drippings, which is essentially just straight fat or grease, whatever. So I had the drippings and everything from the pan that I cook the burnt ends in. And then I just drizzled that on top of it, because that's essentially, it's the fat from the brisket, butter, barbecue sauce, and it's just a super concentrated flavor of everything that was in that pan of brisket burnt ends. So needless to say, it adds another layer of flavor that is amazing. It might look kind of weird, but really did add just an awesome flavor to the lasagna at the end. That looks artistic, right? Sure. Just try it. You'll love it. And then you're going to cook your lasagna per the instructions of the lasagna noodles, whatever on your packaging. For mine, you were supposed to leave it covered for 25 minutes and then uncover it for 5 minutes. It, like I said, might not look amazing, but it is amazing. And the hardest part of this whole recipe is this part. You're done cooking it, and then you have to let it sit there for like 15, 20 minutes. Let it cool down. That way, when you cut a piece and take it out, it just doesn't slide right off of your spatula. So that by far the hardest part. And then you take it out and you get to enjoy your hard work. Look at that cheese. Look at that flavor just dripping off. Oh, so good. Great news. Here comes my favorite part of the video. All right, now for my favorite part of the video. I get to eat the barbecue lasagna. Now, before I dive into this, I just have to point out that those burnt ends may be one of the best things I've ever made in my life. Those things are so good, and I didn't realize how good they were gonna be. I'd made pork belly burnt ends many times in the past. I've never done beef brisket burnt ends, and my goodness, they are amazing. I mean, just besides putting those in lasagna, you could make like sliders with those. You could put that on top of macaroni and cheese. Holy schmoly, there is so much stuff you could do with brisket burnt ends. It's incredible. Okay, anyways, all right, so as you saw, this was super easy to make. Once you have the brisket done, which obviously takes forever, making the burnt ends is easy. Very simple, very easy. But yeah, let's try this out. I am very hungry, so I am excited to have this. That is a bite. Look at those layers. Oh man, whatever. Wow. That is really good. That is amazing. I'm sure there's other barbecue lasagnas out there. Like I said, I kind of got this, I got inspired by her name was Jamie, her and her family. We'd go over there for dinner every once in a while, and she would make the American lasagna, which was more of a kind of it's almost like a sweet and sour lasagna. Whatever. It was really good. So that kind of inspired me to do this. I don't know where to start. It's so good. So the first thing you get is the creaminess of the cheeses. So you bite into that, you get that creaminess of the cheeses, and then you get a little bit of that ham, and then you get the brisket. You get the burnt ends. And it's just a very subtly light sweetness to that, but you still got that smokiness and the pepper and everything on there. That's crazy good. That's so good. I don't know why this isn't a bigger deal everywhere. I don't know why restaurants don't make this. This is so good. I don't know. It's just really good. It's awesome. This is so good. I can't wait to be done filming this because I'm gonna crush the rest of this. Man, that is good. You got to make this. So obviously, like I said, after you do the brisket, to make this is so easy and so worth it. And there's other things you could substitute. Like I just happen to have some smoked Gouda. That's why I threw that in there. And I'm glad I did. It's delicious. But you can use whatever cheese you want. In Bolivia, she would do the sliced mozzarella and sliced ham for the layers. So I would still use that, but kind of go where you want after that. You could go heavier on the barbecue sauce if you want even a sweeter kind of note to it. It's not super sweet at all. It's like just like a perfectly balanced dish. It's really, really good. Very, very rich. But yeah, there you go. Barbecue lasagna. Go make it. It's amazing. Make it. Comment down below. Tell me how it turned out. If you enjoyed this video or you learned something new, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell your friends about it, tell your family about it. Follow us on Instagram, partyfoodhero.com for all the recipes, everything. There's extra stuff on there as well. And it's not one of those annoying recipes. You know when you go to those websites and you have to dig through the person's life story before you get to the recipe? Mine's just the recipe. So you don't have to worry about going and be blasted with a bunch of ads and reading how the person, whatever. This is a very simple, you go there, boom, they're the recipes. Remember, be Party Food Hero. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad I get to eat this. This turned out so good.
Be the Party Food Hero.
So good.